Bettermaker, digitally recallable equipment, and honest gear review. Now, I have recently purchased everything Bettermaker do. I had the VSPE, the EQ, the compressor, the version 2 limiter. I've previously got the Darth limiter, got the bus comp, and is there any more? I don't know. But you'll notice if you look here, you'll see there's 4 that I have kept. And there's a reason for that. And it's not because they're not good. Here's the thing, is all of the Bettermaker equipment is really good. It does sound great. However, the one thing I would say about it is it's very clean. It's not a coloured sound. The only unit I found that had like a really nice coloured sound and had some sort of a wow factor to it was the blue one down here, which is the VSPE, which is a Pultex style EQ with a valve in it. And that has a really nice, impressive sound. And that's obviously why that one was kept. But the EQ is very, very clean. It's just a super nice, clean EQ. That has been kept. The compressor, I didn't end up keeping the compressor in here. And the reason for that, there was one reason. It wasn't because it wasn't a good sounding compressor. It sounds great. It is a good compressor. For me, I found it too kind of menu diving and fiddly. When I use a compressor, I want it all in front of me. I want to dart around it really quickly. And I want to use it in a way that I'm not having to bank through things to jump between different settings. I don't want that. If I've got a sidechain filter, I want to just access that straight off the front. You're kind of working off of these free dials, and it's tricky to do that with all the intricacies that the Bettermaker compressor has. So I found that quite annoying with the Bettermaker compressor, the menu diving. The sound of it was good though. I loved the sound of it. The bus comp's cool. The bus comp sounds really good. There's a touch of menu diving in that, but it's a far less intricate kind of compressor. There's not a huge amount going on with it. So the small amount of menu diving that you have to do is minor. And you don't, once you've kind of got it set up, you never really go there, especially for a bus compressor as well. So everything on the bus comp is pretty much all off the front. The VSPE, the best sounding of all the units Bettermaker do, in my opinion. The VSPE, everything's on the front, bar the tube activation, and I believe it's the volume. Once you have to kind of menu dive for that, which is cool. That's fine, because you just literally hit a button and then turn the tubes on and off if you want. That I didn't mind. The one thing I weren't too impressed with about the VSPE is you have digital filters that you can only access via the plugin. I haven't found a way to access those via the hardware, and I don't like to open the plugin and use the plugin to control the hardware. I don't like to do that. I want everything hands-on. If I want to use that piece of hardware, I will use that piece of hardware. I won't go to the plugin and control it via the plugin, even though I've got the Avid S4 and I have kind of full hands-on control. Still won't do that. I'll want to be hands-on with the piece of equipment. The Bettermaker Darth limiter, in my opinion, and I've used the silver-faced version, I've used the version 2, and I've used the Darth limiter. I had the version 2, and what I did was I had the Darth limiter in here, and the version 2 came out, and I was like, you know what, the version 2, Nick got a version 2 installed into Studio A. I had to play with it. It sounded good. I liked it. I thought, you know what, I'll upgrade the Darth limiter. I'll put the Darth limiter into our third studio, and then I'll have a version 2 in my studio as well. I couldn't get on with it. I couldn't. I always found with the version 2 that the readout, the metering wasn't accurate, and the readout on and the metering on the Darth limiter was brilliant. But the readout, the metering wasn't accurate, and I did no amount of calibration that I did could I ever get the metering to work correctly. The other thing that annoyed me with it was the I believe it was the input went to +20, and obviously you have an output that you would go down to -20. So if you were, let's say, +15, you'd go -15. Then when you bypass, it's the same volume. The output only went to -10, which I found strange, because I constantly found myself needing to go, if I was +15, I wanted to go -15 on the output to match it. And it wouldn't go further than -10. And I found that really frustrating with it. And the other frustrating thing was with the link function. Now, the link function is brilliant. So you use one input. So you have the input knob, you turn the input, and the output goes down automatically. So you're just kind of turning one knob rather than turning two. So there was a link function. The problem was with that is as soon as you went past 10 dB plus 10 dB, it wouldn't go it wouldn't go past -10 dB. So then if you went to +14, let's say, for instance, and then you dialed back, now it was dialing back from -10. So if you dialed back to 10, you'd be at -6, if that makes sense. Really frustrating. And that was something I really didn't enjoy about it. The clipper on it was good. However, the problem was with the metering, you could never actually monitor the clipping. You had to always either use your ear, which, that's ideally the way but it's clipping at the end of the day. You want to see exactly what is clipping. You want to watch the clipping, and you need an accurate readout. If you've ever used a clipper, you will visually look at a clipper and kind of work out what is being clipped. So all in all, with the version 2, it didn't impress me that much. The better unit is the Darth limiter. The Darth limiter is incredible. The Darth limiter is so much better than the version 2. And I don't know, I honestly, it puzzled me how a version 2, an upgrade to an already good compressor, limiter, could actually end up worse. I didn't quite understand that. But all in all, look, here's the thing with the Bettermaker gear. It's great. It is really good. The EQ's brilliant, very clean. If you want an EQ that's super clean and sounds very vanilla, it's a very boring EQ. The menu diving on that isn't too bad. You got 3 dials and you just select the band you want and you do EQ, Q, and frequency. Perfectly fine. Don't mind the menu diving on that. That's perfectly fine. Hence why I've got that in the rack there. The bus comp, brilliant. Sounds great. Get a lot of use out of that. Everything you need to control is pretty much hands-on. The vSpe sounds great. However, not keen on the black one, because that hasn't got the valve in it. I don't feel that has got that really kind of, let's say, tubey sound. It sounds okay, but it's just another kind of it's a very clean. It sounds like a very clean Pultec style EQ. And if something's going to have some mojo with it, stick a valve in it. Love it. So the valve one is, for me personally, that's the one to have. The compressor, was a fan of how it sounded, not a fan of the menu diving. I forced myself to like it. I loved it because of the sound. I couldn't get on with it just because of the whole menu diving aspect. And what else do we have? The Darth limiter. The Darth limiter is brilliant. That's a brilliant limiter. That, look, if you have the opportunity to buy a Bettermaker limiter and you want to buy a Bettermaker limiter, get the Darth limiter. That is the best one out the three. And I've used them all. I've still got the version 2 in Studio A, and the Darth limiter beats it hands down. And I will at some point do a comparison video between the two, because people probably won't believe me, because version 2 is always an upgrade and it always sounds better generally. At this point, no, it didn't. And the Darth limiter's the clear winner for me. So yeah, that's my honest gear review on the Bettermaker series.